So we'll see different types of architectures. So why this architecture is required? Because the depend upon the as it is in a saying that DBMS is in a client server architecture. So it is having the process of sending and receiving. Okay. So when I'm saying sending and receiving of the data, because the client will be going to send the request that I want so and so information, and the server is going to give the information. So it will going to deal with a large number of pieces, servers. So we require the PCs, we require the servers, okay. Then we require the database servers and other components, because these are all are connected to the network. So in order to have such kind of things, so most probably we may sometime we require the workstation also. So based upon this particular requirement, we need the architecture. So when I'm talking about the architecture, we have three different types of architecture. One is one tier architecture, two tier architecture, three tier architecture. By default, whatever you are seeing is the one tier architecture. Okay, that means I will be having one PC. When I'm saying two tier architecture, I will be having two PCs. Okay, when I'm going for the three tier architecture, we will be having multiple uh, pieces will be connected to the servers. Okay, so how it will be working, we'll be seeing one by one. So we have been single tier architecture or multi-tier architecture we may use. That means depending upon our requirement, I can use any tier of architecture. So most probably we will be talking about the two tier and three tier architecture only. We'll be talking about the two tier and three tier architecture only. Okay. Now if in the one tier architecture, what you'll find, like in our college, or whatever the practice you are doing to do the practical subject for this is one tier architecture, because the computer itself has the database and you are going to use the application. That means in one computer I have the server as well as the client. So what is the process over there? I'll be directly get the data directly from that particular system. So if the system collapse, everything will be lost. If the system is safe, then everything. That means here the user multiple users concept will not going to work. So only one user will going to work with that particular RDBMS. Okay, so here it will says that in architecture database directly is available on the user. That means on my PC. So my personal PC has the concept. So I have my personal PC on which my database is stored. So it means directly my database is and the users. So only one PC I will be having. So any changes done will be directly loaded onto the database. That means because the system itself I have the database and I'm the user, so no other person will going to use. So the directly whatever I'll do the operations, the transactions on all the things will be done on that particular system, and it is very handy to for the end user. That means wherever you want, he can carry that particular PC. Okay, so or the data he can collect. So because it's very flexible for him. So in one terabyte, it is developed for the local application. So it is only used for the local. That means in that particular area only he wants to. So when the programmer wants to directly communicate with the database, he will get the quick response, because we no need for any internet connection or any request is required or multiple PCs are required. So all the things will be done on his system. So he can easily directly communicate with the database. So I'm going to get the response. But we are talking about the client server. While I need a more like I don't want to make my system burden, I want to store somewhere on the other screen. So in that particular case, then we'll be moving to the two tier architecture. So here you will be having like this. So I will be having the database. That means my database will be stored on some other system, and the client will be having the application and the user. So the person will be having the application and the user. So he will be using this part. So what is happening in this? The database is totally separated from your PC. Okay, the database is separated from your PC, because I don't want to make burden on my PC. I want to make it only for the particular database. So what is happening over here? Here the client server architecture will going to come. So he will be requesting the server. He will be requesting the server, and I'm going to get the response from the server. Now this is what he wants. So to and fro communication will be there. So how it will be working in the tutor architecture, application on the client end can directly work with the database. So here I will be going to generate the application is nothing but your GUI. So I'll be going to generate the GUI over here. So graphical user interface I'll going to generate. So that will going to help you. Like say example, I have the MeSave application. So what the MeSave application is going to do? I'll be having that application. I'll just enter the details and it will show in the server. Okay, it's a bigger concept. It's not a tutor architecture. Just I'm giving how the application looks. So for the layman, the user, he will be having one application GUI where he will be entering the data entry work. So all the transactions will be done by like that. Say example, one more example. If you are going, you have your internet banking. So internet banking again, it's in a three-tier architecture, but just in order to tell how the graphical user interface. So you will be having an interface. Login will be there. Then you will be checking your transaction. You want to transfer the amount, debit the amount, or credit the amount, whatever the things. That means the application will be going to visible for the user. Then the data is stored on the server. Okay, so that is what the database tutor attach will be saying. Now for this, we require the mediator. So here the mediator will be ODBC, JDBC. Okay, here the mediator will be the ODBC and JDBC, that is object database connectivity or Java database connectivity. Now why it is required? Because my application is developed in some other software and database is some other software. Like say my database is Oracle, my database is Ingress, my database is some MySQL. But coming to the application, I can develop the application using PHP or Java or any other ASP or JSP. So what is happening here? My application platform is different and database platform is different because these are the two different third-party tools. So I'm using the different tools to develop the application. So what is happening? My platform should understand the database system, and the database should understand my platform. So what is happening? It's like an example. The person who knows the Telugu and the person who knows the French. Okay, in order to translate their two between the two people, I need one translator. Is it right? So if I want such kind of persons, so here the ODBC and JDBC are the APIs which is going to interact and it's going to translate the originality of that particular application's GUI and the database between the, it's work like a translator, language translator. Okay, so we are going to use the ODBC drivers and JDBC. Like you will be having one example, one more example I can tell you. You will be catching a bus. So this is your destination, and you will be picking from one place, and it will drop into the destination. So all people will be putting going to enter into the bus. So what will be the things? So you want so and so place to be uh, drop down. Okay, so the conductor will going to take the tickets and will be saying the so and so destination is so and so amount. So he will only guide that particular. That means you are trying to interact with the conductor. It's he is an application for you. Okay, then the conductor will going to give the instruction that okay, Bashirbag came, so he'll be going to give the instruction to the driver that Bashirbag stage has been stop has been coming. So please be alert and stop at that so that the students or the people will going to get down. So he is the person going to come. So you may see that he will be use the whistle or he will be knocking the door or something like that. So he'll give the signals to the driver. So driver is a person who is going to take you from source to the destination. So he knows from where he has to pick up and where he has to drop. That is the only thing. But when it should stop, where it should be pick up, all the things will be given the instruction by the your GUI. So GUI is your conductor. So this was one of the best example I can give you. Where but the thing is that in order to understand the concept, I told you, but you don't write this example. Okay, right? So here we are having the GUI as any application, and the database can be any server, database server. And for this interaction, we need something, a bridge connector should be there. So the bridge is your ODBC or JDBC. So here the user interfaces and the application programs run on the client. So what will going to run? So user interfaces, that your GUI and application programs will run on the client side. So client side is this one. That means my PC. Then server is responsible to provide the functions like queries, processing, transactions, and all things. So these are things will be done by your database. What is the query? Say I need to so and so roll number. What is his name? What is his address? What is the contact number? So I'm putting with my GUI some queries, and database is giving me the answer. Okay, and I'm doing some transaction in the sense I'm depositing the amount, withdrawing the amount, or I'm being paying the amount, or I'm modifying, or I'm adding the new person details, something like that I'm doing with an application. So that will be taken care by the database by giving the answers for that. Okay, that is, this has been transaction has been completed, it has been updated, it has been deleted, something like that. Okay, so the to and fro work will be coming. So this is how your two-tier architecture is going to work. So very important concept, beta. So one-tier architecture, only one system will be there. When I'm coming to the two-tier architecture, we'll be having the users and the databases. Okay, so like this, I'll be using with the two-tier architecture. Then coming to the three-tier architecture, the three-tier architecture contains three levels. Okay, three-tier architecture will be having the three levels. So what is this three levels? As the client is having what? Client side, client application GUI, your user is there. But when coming to the server, previously server in the two-tier architecture, we have only the database. Now application server also has been added. Now, what is the use of this and why we are been using this? Now, what is that we are adding in the client server architecture? Client cannot directly communicate with the server. So I'm not asking the client directly. So if you see here, directly is communicating with the server, I should restrict it. Why? For security reason. Okay, that is a major thing. I don't want to go for the security. So you may have got the dot, sir. If this is there, then why that has been implementing? It's not like that. The thing is that previously, like one by one, like we have been seeing over there, this is the development. Then later on we have decided to like do like this. Then in this we find some drawbacks and all this. Based upon that, again we have been moving from one architecture to another architecture. It has been long run process which has been developed this architecture. Okay, so what is happening over here? So in the architecture directly I don't want to communicate. That means I don't want to give the key to the client, because if I give the directly, then he can destroy the entire my database. So I don't want to put that. So I want to do the separate application server. So what is this application server going to? It interact the application server further communication with the data. So this he will going to communicate with the server. He'll say I want this. This server will go into this application server, same as how this is having with the user. So user is having this client application, same as the database also have the same application, which will going to do the additional work. So the user will going to use the application, then he will not going to directly communicate with the database. I can communicate with the any server application, then he will going to take care of the database. Now there is an advantage over here, that here I can have the multiple databases also of different platforms, and the application is going to take care of the whichever the database you want to connect, it will come in depending upon the client request. That is what the first advantage, right? Then what is the thing is over here, why we are going with this concept is because I don't want to make the user to know that where the data is coming. So the user should not have the idea about where the database is existing. See here in the first case, I'm able to know that where is, because my system itself have the server and the client. So database is my system. So I am able to know. In second server, I am able to trace out, because user can able to know that where is the server. Okay, somewhere in the Nizamkola, somewhere in the Bashirwa, somewhere in the Hayat Nagar, something like that. So I can able to trace it out. But when I'm coming to the third architecture, the main intention is for security reason, and the end user should not know about the where the database coming and how this data is coming. So database has no idea about any other users behind the application. So again, this person doesn't have the, because only the application server will going to take care of that, from where this request is coming and where it has to send. So that will be taken care by the application server. Okay, so this is how you are going to find the three-tier architecture. Any doubt regarding this architecture?
No, sir.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, because these diagrams are very important, we have to go through this. Okay, and we'll go for a little bit depth of this third tier architecture because we are going to focus on the third tier architecture. We'll see how it will work. So here, if you see the three tier architecture, this is what in depth of this. So we call that as a presentation layer, application layer, and data tier layer. So we have three stages. So how it will be? So you can draw this diagram or that diagram. So both are the same, but it has been given more in depth of the knowledge over here. So what is happening over here in this? If you see the what is happening the one tier and two tier and three tier and why we are moving to the three tier. In one tier, what is happening? So in the one tier, what we are saying? Only entity where the user directly sit on the DBMS and he'll use this. Okay, that means one person or one entity. That means the entire database will be there on that particular where the user will go and sit on that particular computer and he will going to use it. Any changes that will be done on the DBMS itself only. So it does not provide any handy tool for the end user. So it will not going to give any GUI. It's depend upon the person. The person who going to use it, he'll going to design his own application for that, program for that, and it will be single architecture. Now, when I'm going for the two tier one, here what happens? We will be having an application. So we will be having an application. Here, I'll be accessing that particular application with the DBMS. That means with the help also with the application, I will be trying to contact the DBMS. So entirely the tier is independent of the database. That means it is not dependent on that. So it is totally independent on that particular database. So operations, design, and program will be separate. So here all are at single tier. Here it will be dynamics. So in third tier, what is happening? I am trying to separate all the things. Why? Because I want to make it little bit hide and seek from the user. So the data present in the database, it is widely used in this architecture. So how it will be? So one will be having presentation layer. So we can use we can call it presentation layer, application layer, and database type. So you can use any one of the diagram. It's left to you. But if you want more information, see that if they ask only explain about the three directories, so one diagram is not enough for the big answer. So we have to possibility you have to show in a different manner. So this is what we can do. So in this tier, what happens in the database tier? So in this tier, what happens? So here the database is going to reside. So in this, so the name itself is as a database tier. So it says that it is so in this the database will be going to reside. Okay, so along with its query processing languages, so it will have its own languages. So if I say MySQL, it has its own language, and if you are going from the Oracle, it has its own language. So thing is that in this level, we will be having certain restriction, that is constraints at this levels has been put it over because I want my data to be safe. So I'm using the database tier. So database tier is separately. I'm trying to put all my database on this. Then the second one is something called application tier. We also called as a middle tier. So we call this as an application tier or a middle tier. So what is happening over here? In this, the application server and the programs will be access the database. So what is the duty of this? It is going to access the database. That means see here on the diagram, if you see, database is accessing this one. Okay, and it is replaying, so to and fro, so it is going like this, and if it is there it will coming like this. So it is having to and fro, so that's why it is in the middle. So what it is going to do, it will going to access the database. So the middle tier will going to access the database. So that is the beauty of this middle tier. So what is happening in this application presents an abstract view of the database. So here it will going to give the abstract, that means it is say that okay, I am there for you, but where is there, it is not going to tell you. Just it will going to give the view. Okay, I'm with you. I have data. Whatever you want, you can ask me. So what is happening in this? Where the users are unaware of where this particular database is coming from. That is what we want, security. So I don't want to know, or I don't want to reveal from where the database is coming. So on the other hand, database tier is not aware. So not the user also unaware of this, and also database also not aware of where this person is asking, or where this application is coming from. Okay. So like this, what is happening in this case? So the application layer sits in the middle and acts as a mediator between the end user of the database. So this is what the last point which I want to tell you. So what is over here? It says that it sits like a mediator. It sits like a mediator between the user and the database. So this is how the second tier or third tier architecture, middle tier will be going to work. That is application tier will go to work. Then coming to the user presentation. So we can call as a presentation layer, or we can call as an user. Okay. So when I'm calling about the user, that means end user. So the person who is going to use the software are called as an end users. So we are going to, what he'll do, he'll sit on that particular computer or that particular application, and he'll be just put the queries, or he'll put the data, or he'll going to assess it. He'll be asking username and password. He'll asking your profile, or you are trying to add the numbers, or you want to delete the numbers, or whatever the operations that you want to do, you just, the application will going to add it. So with the tag, then knowing nothing about the existing database behind this layer. So the user is least bother about the whether the person use MySQL, Oracle, Ingress, DB2, what is the backend he has used. He was least bother about it. He bother about the GUI. Okay, what is he is asking, what the GUI is asking, enter the name, he'll enter the name. It will be asking age, it will you are entering the age, then it says you are eligible or not eligible. So that means all the restrictions have been telling by your GUI only. So he was least bothered about the database, what is the backend of this particular thing, whether we have been using MySQL or Oracle or something. So the user is not at all interested in that. So in this layer, multiple views of the database can be provided by the application. So as I told you now, so I will be having a backend, lot of different platforms I can use. So depend upon the user request, I will get the data from that particular database. So all views are generated by the application reside in the application tag. So what is happening over here? Whatever that you are asking, see, I have something on the screen. I have this transaction concurrences. That these are different topics. That means based upon that, I will be jumping to that particular topic. Similar fashion, it will going to generate the different applications on the application tab. So in the, it will depend upon the view. That means how you want to get it. Say like your best example, I'll be telling. If you go for an internet bank, if you are done the internet banking, you'll be having like profile will be there. You want to check the balance, last transactions, or current transactions, whatever that you want. You will be having separate menu. Then immediately you'll find there is something like a remittance login will be there. That means when I click on that, it is going to allow me to go with an IMPS or NEFT, or I want to do the transaction in my account or to other bank, or the same account with other person, or like this it will be asking. That means whatever the things have been done, that means the changes and all the things. That means for the users, what is the application has to be visible. For the admin, what is the application. That means suppose I am the admin, or I am the manager of the bank, I want to know what is the today's transaction. So he also will log in. Okay, he also log in, but he'll be having his GUI will be different, because comparing to the normal client, the customer of the bank, he is having limited features. Like he can do what the he can do. He wants to do the transactions, so he'll be having the transactions like today's transaction you cannot go with 25,000, okay, or 50,000. This is the limit I'll be having. So that all limits I can put it in the thing. But suppose if I forgot my password, if I lost or something has been happened, I'll going to contact the manager. What he'll do, he will log in his own GUI, and he'll be try to modify, and he'll check it. Okay, where is the problem of that particular customer has exist? He will resolve it. So his application is different. That means depending upon the scenario, I will be having different applications, and backend will be different. So who has this do this one? The application, depending upon the login features or depending upon the user's request, the application will go on changing. Okay. So this is what the multi-tier architecture, and comparing to other two, this is independent. So if you remember that this is independent, so it's not depend on the particular database. It's independent depending upon the architecture, the program, and here the mediator will be again the different one. So the mediator will be, so whoever the person will going to develop or implement this three-tier architecture, they will develop the application for the server, they'll develop the application for the client also. So these are the two things he'll be doing. Okay, so he'll be doing the two applications. So one for this particular and second for this one. So the developer who is going to develop, will be develop the application, design the things for the application as well as the use. So two applications will be developed by this in the three-tier architecture, right? Any doubts, ma'am?
No, sir.
Yeah. So now we'll be seeing some more how the in these things will be there. I'll show you. So we have three-tier architecture. So levels are there. So if you think over there, so it will be decided like this. So if you represent in a physical way, then the first one we call as an external level, then second one we call as a conceptual level, and third one we call as an internal level. So this is levels of architecture. So in the three way we have been decided. So how it will be like? So if this is just for extra knowledge, I'm giving over here. So no need to worry about this. So just in order to understand the concept, how it will be. So here we will be having different users. So we have this kind of view, and this is a database. So this is how the database is there. Then backend, I can use many database internal storage. See how I can be. So I have different. I can see he is the user. So he is the user. So he is the user, and this is the different kinds of database I'm using. And internally, this is how it is going to work. So this is the detailed architecture of the system of your DBMS. So this is your DBMS. So it is having conceptual view, it is having external view. Okay, like this view. So just to understand the concept, I'm telling you over here. So how it will be if you go with this, like you have again thought about distributed database systems. So I was telling about the distributed DDA system. So how it will be, it has been divided the your computers program into different things. So how it will be, so end users will be like this. So I'll be end users will be having only the things, he will be using the front end application. So GUI will be used, then the GUI going to communicate two layers. So what is this two level? This is backend. So whenever you think about the concept, when you're designing anything, it will be asking two things: what is front end, what is front end, and what is back end. So you have to remember this one. So what is the front end and what is your back end? So what is your back end you are using, what is the front end you are using? So front end can be any language, and back end also it's your thing. So here front end, if I say in our entire syllabus from first to fourth, 6 semesters, if I want to go with this any kind of application, if you want to develop, uh, we are developing in our final year websites or any other applications. So we don't have any languages we are using. In first semesters, we have something called, that is in first year we have something called C and C++. So with the help of C++, a lot of coding is required, and we have to develop an application, means like 10,000s of 20,000s of lines we have tried for a simple one, single interactive GUI. So it's a, most of the MCA and BSc people will struggle to develop that. So for the BCom people, we don't want to take that much of bigger risk. So most probably they have been not implemented from C to C++. Then like previously, if you say about talk about your seniors, there we have something called in the first semester C, then second semester C plus plus, third semester Java was there, then RDBMS, uh, then applications, web applications. That means it can go with any platform and can develop. There we have the in-depth of the knowledge to develop the GUI. So we are not dealing with all the things. So what they have done, we have been gone with the concept of web technologies. So in RDBMS concept is there. So with the help of that means if you learn here in this semester about the web technologies, in the upcoming semester you will be learning about the web technologies. So in the web technologies, you will going to know about how you're going to design the website and how you're going to connect the backend. So there the your front end will be your website and the backend will be your MySQL or Oracle library. So with the help of that particular application, we are trying to. So in your final year project, we have final year we have a project. That project will be using the website as a front end and the back end as your MySQL or something. So depending upon the scenario we use. So so when we are doing trying to do any kind of applications, we will be thinking about the front end and the back end. So front end will be taken care by the user. So we are developing for the front end for the users, end users, and the back end also we are trying to develop the application interface. We are trying to make the application interface which is going to contact with the DBM because the DBMS is a different language. Why we require this programming interface? Because interface itself it says that I want to communicate with you, and my language is different from other language. So here application is different, and DBMS language is different. Say example, I'm developing the application in PHP or HTML or Java or JSP something like that. So these are all different platforms. So application in the front end I have been using different, but MySQL or Oracle or Ingres, DB2, these all the database are there. This is having their own language, their platform. So I need a mediator which is going to act like a layer between the application and the DBMS. So this is your DBMS. So this is your DBMS. So this DBMS is required a interface. So we are trying to develop. So the developer will going to develop the both. Okay. So front end and the back end. So you should know the what is the difference between the front end and the back end concept. Okay, so when I'm talking about the front end and the back end, so here you will be having, again it has been furtherly divided, like I can use this kind of concept in one system, two system, or for one organization, or for that particular college, or for that particular school or something like that. I'll be available, but I want remote access. That means I want wireless. Okay, that means if I develop and like the best example you can say Mi Seva is an application where it is distributed. That means throughout the stage we have the different centers and servers are placed somewhere. So the person will going to get up to date data. So what I'm doing here, the backend machine and the front end machine has been separated because it is going to remotely access. Okay, so wherever can go log in with an IP address with the credential details, and I can get that. So that is what the remote access. So you can have the backend, as I told you in the previous one. I can have a lot of backend. I can have here see what is this? These are multiple users. I am using multiple users are available over here. So I have different users like this. So users are many. For all the users, we have machines, front end machines. That means each user will be having their own computer, or they go to the internet center or something like that. They will be using their own computer. So lot of users, lot of machines. They have communication network. So communication network is like your internet, intranet, and extranet. Okay, so it can be anything. So when I'm talking about the publicly sites, so we will be using internet. If you say corporate or institutes, then we'll be saying intranet or extranet. So organization to organization, they want to communicate. So we may use any communication network over here. So intranet or extranet or internet, we use those things, but that will going to connect my backend. Okay, so this is how the architecture has been designed. So you are right about 3-tier architecture, 2-tier architecture, and 1-tier architecture. But when I'm if it is not enough, the data is not enough, this diagrams are going to help you to explain how this is going to work. Okay, so here you can see the machine in both backend and front end. See, that means the person will going to work like this. So he'll be this is the user, and he is the uh, person who is going to use the front end, and he'll be using the back end. So he'll be connecting. So that means one person is connected like this to the communication network. So different areas the people are been connecting using the front end and the back end one, and they're going to store the data, and the data stored on the through parcel or shared through different students or the users or end user, whoever the person is going to use, will be shared via network. Okay, so this is what the final look will be. Okay, so this has been explained only for one, but if you see the finally this will be like this. So we call this as a client server architecture. Okay, so any doubts you can just raise the questions, otherwise I stop the session. So with this we have completed our first unit successfully. Then thereafter we'll see the uh, we'll go with the second unit. Okay, so just if you have any doubts you can clarify.